Good evening, race fans. Welcome into Tuesday night on VirtualRacing.Network. You know what that means. As always here, it's time for the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, and we're in for a doozy here tonight as we get close to wrapping up the regular season of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. We're racing on dirt. That's right, it's the simrapmarket.com down and dirty. 150. 25 laps in the first heat, 25 in the second heat. That'll set the order for the feature tonight. 100 laps around this little dirt oval, and it should be a lot of fun as we get our hands and everything else dirty here on VirtualRacing.Network at Eldora Speedway. I'm Trevor Greenfield. It's so great to be with you here tonight as we get rolling, and the drivers just heading out there to get qualifying. Of course, I'm joined here in the booth by my new friend here on VirtualRacing.Network. It's Kalen Davies. And Kalen, this is it's great to have you back here. We're looking forward to something a little bit different here tonight. What do you think we can expect from Eldora Speedway and dirt racing here?
Well, I think the first thing we can expect is a little bit of chaos. Dirt racing in these next-gen cars is not going to be easy, and this is one of my favorite tracks. Of course, I'm an Ohio boy, and Eldora is one of our big treasures in the racing community. We love this place, so I'm really excited to watch these Cup cars drive around here, and this race is going to have huge implications in our championship this year, with the championship leader not being present this weekend.
Yeah, that is a big factor as they're out there qualifying right now to get into this heat. Gavin Rogers, who's been on an absolute tear here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, going to be sitting out tonight. He's got some other family things that he needs to take care of, so that opens the door for a couple of the other drivers, including Ronnie Norman, who will be having a chance to climb back some of those points in this regular season battle. And, of course, Adam Buzzio, who's had some difficult finishes recently. He'll look to get some more points in this championship. Stephen Borbell sitting in third place in the championship. He has a chance to close in on Ronnie Norman. So, of course, a lot of drivers really fighting it out there to try to close in on the regular season championship. And those who are just outside of the chase, which will be coming up here in 3 races, they're going to be fighting really hard to make it into that chase. So as you can see there on your screen, it's a nice cool evening under the lights, 75 degrees on the track, 67 degrees. And not much breeze, just 2 miles per hour. Jared Hughes now going to the top of the charts. Take a look over as Evan Patinko puts in his laps here for Spirit Racing. He's, of course, fighting as well to get up there in the points. How about this guy, though? Stormin' Ronnie Norman. He's had to fight and fight and fight to get those top finishes recently. It's not becoming as easy, Kalen, as it did earlier in this season, but you can never count out a driver like Ronnie Norman as he heads out there to get qualified tonight.
Well, the thing that really impressed me about Ronnie was the way he dealt with a week like last week, where he was definitely not the fastest guy, had a bad qualifying, that's kind of how he was running in practice. He really struggled a little bit with the fact that he didn't get as much running time as some of the other guys because of life commitments. But he managed to power through a difficult weekend and avoid losing what could have been a lot of points. And that now has put him in a position where this week he could make a huge dent in that point lead.
Yeah, this is one of those opportunity weekends for this league where you know that the leader is sitting out. In real life, it could be due to an injury or some other complication that they need to take care of. Here, it's just a family thing that was already arranged for that Gavin has to take care of. But it doesn't matter when you see that opportunity to get some freebie points on the leader. That's when you take advantage. And Ronnie's got some great experience on dirt as well. He's not the most seasoned dirt racer out there, but he can get it done. We've seen him in the other leagues. He'll take an extra couple of practice laps here and run towards the top. Let's go ahead while we have a moment and we're not quite jumping into our starting orders yet. Let's take a look at those points, and there you can see it at the center of your screen. Gavin Rogers at the top with 5 wins. He got most of those in the recent races. 448 points right now. Ronnie Norman playing catch-up. He's a ways out, but so many points at stake tonight. Stephen Borbell there in third, as mentioned. Buzzio, Pooler, Patinko, Hughes, Wolsifer, Hernandez, who has come on very strong with his debut, and Campbell as well in the top 10. That puts King, Stallings, Erickson, Clapper, Newell, Brendan Maddox, Hales, Hawk, and Moats, and a number of others outside. We probably won't see some of those other drivers out there tonight, but here we go. We are set to go for heat number 1, and let's go ahead and take a look at the starting grid for heat number 1 of the Sim Wrap Market Down and Dirty 150. Be talking so much more here about the simwrapmarket.com as well as Sundance Pizza. But here we go. It's Jared Hughes who's going to be starting next to Ronnie Norman. And this is a big deal. Jared Hughes just taking pole position there in qualifying, but Ronnie Norman going to get to start on the outside. Richard Wolsifer will be starting third. Patrick Hernandez starting fourth. On that third row will be Dustin Stallings and Christopher Campbell on the fifth row. Jeremy Clapper Newell and Zachary King. As I mentioned, Zachary really trying to get those points and get himself into the chase. So watch for him out there tonight. This is going to be exciting stuff. Dirt racing at Eldora, as you said, it's a big deal in Ohio. Eldora is a big deal no matter what on the short track dirt calendar, no matter who you're looking at. Some of the other sponsors here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, Trivista and Idealease, and of course Buttkicker. You'll see all of them featured on various cars out there tonight. They're just about ready to head out there onto the track. There's been some refreshes and some changes in the iRacing scene on ovals. We're anxious to find out how that's going to play out in our first dirt race here on coverage since those changes. Will there be large changes? Will it not matter at all? We'll find out here very shortly. And Kalen, we're about to get going here. What do you think in strategy? Just 25 laps to get it done in this first heat. Everybody's going to make it into the feature. 25 in the first, 25 in the second heat. What do? You just go out there and attack hard? Is there any strategy to laying back here?
I really don't think there's, especially if you're starting towards the front, I don't think there's a great strategy to doing anything but going for it, because these tracks, it's very hard to follow, especially in the early stints. So, especially if you're someone like Ronnie, you want to jump out to an early lead and not have to worry about any of the chaos behind you.
Well, it sounds so easy to do. We'll see how difficult it is to get all those ponies under the hood, under control. A lot of oversteer to speak of out there. Of course, as I mentioned tonight, the simwrapmarket.com Down and Dirty, simwrapmarket.com, iRacing paints made easy. Create stunning iRacing wraps and paints with SimWrap Market. In addition to our wide range of graphic assets and designs, we're also known for our smart templates, which utilize Photoshop features to automate aligning graphics across panels. Thank you for choosing simwrap.com, simwrapmarket.com, and we're ready to go here for our very first heat. They're side by side as they take the green flag into turn number 1. Hughes still on the inside, holding down the lead. Richard Wolsifer able to get by Ronnie Norman on that inside line.
And a great slide up there prevents Norman from being able to use that energy in the top line. And for Ronnie, you got to say this is not the start that he hoped for.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's also not the start that Jeremy Clapper Newell would have wanted. He just had a big incident back in the pack. We're already looking at a little bit of chaos. So we take a look at the Sundance Pizza replay here, and we'll take a look at it from up above. What happened here with Clapper Newell? Did it start just in front of him, or was it a self-caused incident? It looks like that 68 gets into the 10 and then leaves Clapper Newell nowhere to go. That's Dustin Stallings in the 10 and Christopher Campbell there in that 68. We'll take one more look here at this one and see exactly what went down from on board. This is the 13. Looking ahead, you'll see the 68 come down into the 10. There it is, and nowhere to go for Clapper Newell. And
yeah, you wonder if he thought that he was clear to come down a little bit in the 68 and didn't realize that he had a car directly under him. Might have thought that he would clear that on the high side coming out and didn't.
Well, it looked like Dustin Stallings just took a little bit of a ding, and the other two drivers that were involved, Stallings and Clapper Newell, suffering a little bit more. Excuse me, I believe it's Christopher Campbell, who kind of wrapped himself around the front of Stallings there and into that inside wall, so a little bit of damage here early on. And just like that,
heavy hit.
We're back to green flags, short yellow flags here at Eldora. We're back under racing. There's no pit stops, so right back at it. Jared Hughes in that lead. Wilsifer in second. Ronnie Norman, a little bit of a dogfight here for third place.
An absolute great jump out front. He got exactly what you would hope for and just left the field behind on that restart.
Absolutely. Jared Hughes that time by setting fastest lap of this very young race so far. Just working on lap number 4 here. Jared Hughes holding onto that top line. He likes to run right up there towards the top. We'll jump on board here with Hughes as he cruises around Eldora Speedway. And it looks like there's another caution. We'll have to sort this one out as Ronnie Norman, it looks like Christopher Campbell, having some, we're having some timing and scoring stuff coming up. So let's take a look and see if we can spot where this one is in the pack here. Looking back at Christopher Campbell. And I'm not entirely sure that that's where the problem occurred. Jeremy Clapper Newell there. And perhaps this incident occurred in front. Did notice some jumbling up of the timing and scoring, just as I'm noticing that right now on our timing. So I'm not sure if possibly getting some iRacing timing glitches, but we're working to get that all sorted out here at Eldora Speedway, live here on VirtualRacing.Network. Great to have you all with us here as we are underway in our first heat of the evening. And speaking of which, great to have you all joining us here on our YouTube channel. Gavin Rogers checking in. What up? Well, it's all good here in the booth, my friend. Obviously, it'd be great to have you out there on the track. We'll look forward to seeing you back out there next week. Great to have you checking in with us. And then Donna Lee. Normally, she'd be rooting on, I believe, Gavin Rogers, part of that Gavin Rogers fan club, but Gavin not in the field this week, so she's just watching along. We appreciate you checking in, Donna. Everybody else, feel free to check in with us. Let us know where you're watching from. Here with Kaylin Davies in the booth as we watch Jared Hughes take over or continue in the lead.
Big slide up in the Ronnie Norman right there.
Richard Wolsifer wants those points, and so does Ronnie Norman. Now 3 wide into the corner. They'll get it sorted out a little bit, but as you said, Wolsifer up into Norman. Norman now back into 3rd spot.
And I think we got our answer on whether or not you'd be aggressive or lay back. It seems like, especially at the front, it's all aggression all the time.
Yeah, this is dirt racing. This is short track racing here, and certainly there is very little time to take your foot out of the gas. As we see, it looks like Patrick Hernandez slowing down a little bit. I hear some crunching. Look, that's Ronnie Norman up into the wall. Not too much damage though, just a bit of a scrape, but he'll keep that one going. Meanwhile, back here, Stallings, Hernandez fighting it out for that 4th spot.
Hernandez gets a great run out of that corner. What a beautiful run on the high side, and the way that he's able to turn down and just get a great run out of these corners.
Hernandez going to run that high side. There comes the slide job from Dustin Stallings, who kind of stalls out in the middle of the corner, but he'll keep it going. There goes Stallings again. Hernandez and Christopher Campbell getting a little loose and getting up, possibly up into the wall. Here comes Christopher Campbell into the picture. Is he going to have something to say about it back here?
Stallings came really close to wrecking himself right there on the front end. He cut right across and got quite lucky that he didn't end up putting it outside wall there.
Yeah, this is it's all over the track here for these guys here in the mid-pack. They're just trying to sort this one out. Of course, they'll have 100 laps in that feature race to really work out the kinks. But Jared Hughes spraying the dirt up into the low seats in the grandstands as he works his way around. He is absolutely setting the pace here. 0.2 of a second faster than second place Richard Wilsifer right now. Ronnie Norman just holding on to 3rd place. Dustin Stallings now back actually about 3 seconds. And oh, we've got Campbell around. Campbell is around, and he will bring out another caution here for the simwrapmarket.com. Down and dirty, 150 right here. So we're going to step aside for just one moment. We'll hear from our sponsor. That, of course, is simwrapmarket.com. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. About ready to go again here with 12 laps to go here as they go under Barney the Flagman. Hughes, no problem with that restart. And Wilsifer gets up into Ronnie Norman again. This time they both managed to continue, and Ronnie Norman able to stay in second place. He's going to have a go at Jared Hughes.
Norman really shot out of a cannon on that restart. We'll see if he has anything for Hughes. Hughes is kind of one of my favorites this weekend, and we'll see if Norman can do something to keep up with the pace of Hughes. But for Norman, really, any points gained is great right now.
Yeah, and that's true. Jared Hughes is not a contender for this regular season championship, so as such, Ronnie Norman just trying to score as many points. 5 points available to the winner of this heat, and 4 to second, third gets 3, etc. back to 5th place, who gets 1 point. So just a few extra points available here. And then, of course, that big feature race with the regular amount of points that are available. It looks like Norman, though, might be under attack here from Richard Wolsifer, as we've got another yellow flag. This time, I believe it's for Campbell again.
Yeah, Campbell having a bit of a rough go of it here in the last few laps on the dirt, which I guess can be expected. Not everybody is going to be naturally into some of the things that go on in dirt racing.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody's got their specialty. And it looks like he almost got into Dustin Stallings, and that's what caused him to loop it around there. We'll take one more look at that one from on board with Campbell. Actually, I take it back. That's Patrick Hernandez on the outside that he gets into. Hernandez kind of came down the track there a little bit.
Yeah, that was definitely Campbell got a little bit high in that line, and then got come down on and took the brunt of that impact, unfortunately for him.
Well, these cars will all get repaired magically in the pits between the heats and the feature, so good news for those drivers who have a damaged machine out there. But great to see, once again, so many joining us here in the YouTube chat room. We appreciate it. Make sure you tell us who you're rooting for out there. We'll give you a big shout out on the air. Jared Hughes would be somebody who I'd be rooting for right now. He's got it all going right now here at Eldora. Seems to have that right pedal working just perfect. But Hughes racing the mobile paint scheme out there. We know what lubricant he's got under the hood for sure. And just getting around the final corner before we unleash these cars one more time. 8 laps to go at the line for this first heat of 3 races here tonight. Jared Hughes back in the lead into turn number 1. Ronnie Norman follows him in. Richard Wolsifer tries that high line. Wolsifer crosses over, cannot make it work, goes back to the high line. Ronnie Norman tries the low line. Can he get any sort of traction and be able to make a pass on Jared Hughes?
As he's going to the inside right now, he's really trying to be able to slide up. Looks like he loses it just a little bit, and he's going to lose that momentum to the inside in that turn. Let's see if he can get it back here, as he's really trying to bring that low line in and make it fast.
Yeah, and he's actually just lost momentum to Richard Wolsifer, who's taken over that second spot. So Richard Wolsifer now up into second, and we'll see if he can hang on to that spot as he tries the high line here to try to follow Jared Hughes around. Everybody just trying to pick up some tips on what's going on up there in front with Jared Hughes, who seems to be kind of in a class of his own at the moment. Nobody can seem to catch him here at Eldora. 5 laps remaining for Jared Hughes. Can he hang on? And he's looking good, but Wolsifer keeps getting very loose on exit. It's a question mark as to whether he'll be able to hang on to this one until the end.
Wolsifer is really riding that ragged edge and just barely hanging. Every corner, I swear that he's lost it and went over that line, but he manages to get it back straightened out just in time for the next corner. As it looks like, again, we have Campbell around.
Campbell in that 68 machine. Once again, our cause for the caution. These laps do not count under caution, so we'll re-rack them here. Campbell not going to lose a lap, fortunately for him. Zachary King, though, has pulled it into the pits, so his first race is over here. I believe he's done. He's sitting there on pit road, so perhaps a little bit of blinking from Zach King. He's had that issue in the past, and I thought these laps were not going to count under caution, but apparently... Oh, they're the number reset, so they are not counting under caution. Getting a little ahead of myself, but the number does reduce to 2, then it goes back up to 3. So all the fun and joy of doing live broadcasts here on VirtualRacing.Network.
Yeah, we've had a few timing and scoring issues early on, our early growing pains in these heat. It's a bit of a different format that we do for anything else, so there's always a few little hiccups. And a reminder to viewers, the caution laps will not count during the heat races, but they will count during the main event.
Absolutely true. And it is a factor here in a short race like this. We would have already been done with this first heat if they had counted. Oh, the 91 of Patrick Hernandez gets loose on as he was lining up for the restart and collects a couple of cars. They haven't given a call to continue the caution, so I believe he's going to get up. Puts it up into the wall to try to get his spot back. But Hernandez now going to start in 4th place as we're ready to get going here again at Eldora Speedway. 2 laps remaining for this first heat of the sim wrap market. Down and dirty, 150. Jared Hughes holding on to it right now. Ronnie Norman holding on to 2nd place. Wolsifer really close to him there. We'll see.
And if you're Norman, you have to be a little bit safe here because you desperately need the points from this stage. But
absolutely. Well, you got to watch out for these other drivers like Richard Wolsifer who wants those points too. Jared Hughes manages to capture the checker flag, and I believe Ronnie Norman hangs on to 2nd place. Our timing and scoring software a little glitchy with exactly who finished in what order here, but definitely it was Jared Hughes who won, and congratulations to him. We'll take a look at that final results here on VirtualRacing.Network. This is the official, it's unofficial until approved by BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, but this is how they came across the line. Jared Hughes taking the win, Richard Wolsifer in 2nd place, so he did get him at the line. Wolsifer with a great move, taking 2nd. Ronnie Norman 3rd across the line. Patrick Hernandez 4th. Dustin Stallings 5th. Christopher Campbell in 6th. Jeremy Clapper Newell in 7th. And Zachary King did not finish the race. He finishes last. And with that, let's take a look at the starting grid for this second heat. It'll be Adam Buzzio starting on pole position. Next to him, Evan Patinko. On that second row will be Stephen Borbell, and alongside him, Brendan Maddox. Remember, Maddox has got to get his way into the chase. Carl Pooler will be starting in 5th place. Next to him, Matthew Erickson, and David Hall will be starting last in 7th place. And again, all these drivers will make it into the feature here tonight, so no danger of not qualifying for the feature. But still, you do want to get a good starting spot, and certainly you would like to feel good about finishing high up in the order, not just for points, but to have something going into the feature and know that you might be able to contend with these top drivers.
Yeah, and the qualifying times were incredibly close in this play, and I'm really excited to see between Buzzio and Patinko who can jump out to an early lead and if they can hold it.
Well, we're going to find out here. 25 to go. Buzzio in the lead in the Tri-Vista machine. Already 3 wide for that 2nd spot. Patinko, Borbell, and Maddox racing it out here. A lot of chaos in this 2nd group. Slick paint scheme there on Borbell's machine for tonight. And he gets up into Patinko, but Patinko able to carry on there. Maddox gets up into the wall as well, but he manages to hold on to it. Kind of the self-righting feature of getting up into the wall. As long as you keep it straight, you keep on going.
One of those unique things that you only see in dirt racing is you can occasionally get up into that wall and it not hurt you incredibly much. It looks like we have David Hall resetting to the pits.
And yes, he did reset to the pits. He has officially crashed and towed back to the pits, so as long as we stay green, that is going to be absolutely devastating for Hall here in this heat. But Buzzio out to an early lead. Patinko holding on to 2nd place. Stephen Borbell from Next Level Motorsports, teammate to Adam Buzzio. Right now hanging on to third. Brendan Maddox has got it somewhat straightened out there, riding that cushion around. Right now sitting in the fourth spot. Carl Pooler from Limitless back here in fifth place. And Matthew Erickson, Full Send eSports right now, holding on to sixth place, but just barely up in front. Buzzio, no problem at all. Big shout out, Donna Lee, let's go Next Level. And so far it's first and third for them. What's up, guys? Awesome stream quality. Thank you so much, Sim Rap Market. Of course, thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's event. Everybody head on over to simrapmarket.com and get a chance to score yourself a great wrap. And in the meantime, Brendan Maddox, who actually has a pretty cool wrap himself there for Castle.io, the number 33 machine, he's gone around, and that has brought out our yellow flag. Let's take a look at the replay. Thanks to Sundance Pizza, we're overhead here of Brendan Maddox. Let's check this one out. He rides that cushion, but just rides it a little too far, and it turns right on him up into the wall. He comes across and collects Carl Pooler in the number 71 machine.
Yeah, it's just such a fine line between getting that high line right and getting into that overcorrection up into some of the nastier bits of the track, as you see right there. And once you get up in that stuff, there's just nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when it wants to kick right on you. It doesn't matter if it's dirt or asphalt, but of course it's so much more prevalent here in dirt. Let's see what Carl Pooler saw from on board his Limitless eSports number 71. He's just kind of cruising along here, and around she goes. Perfect pirouette. A little bit of damage on the left front. You don't need that. Not much aerodynamics happening here tonight. And
in truth, it might help him handle better.
It's been known to happen very often. You put a little bit of damage on one piece and makes it handle just a little bit better. Buzzio, your leader here with 19 laps when we get the green flag. Patinko sitting in second place. Carl Pooler and Stephen Borbell now going to start on that second row together. Matthew Erickson and Brendan Maddox will bring up the field with David Hall now in the pits. Going to wait this one out until the feature. That number 5 Tri-Vista machine is gleaming out there right now. Is it going to be able to finish this heat race in the top spot, or will Evan Patinko have Adam Buzzio's number? He's got it on the high side. Evan Patinko, your new leader here at Eldora.
And sometimes that's the harsh reality of restarts in these dirt races, is the inside line is not the preferred line. So you can easily have someone drive around the outside of you, and it puts you in a hard place, because as you mentioned, it's hard to follow, and it's even harder to pass because you have to get that lower line to work. But the lower line isn't the fast line, so it's not the line getting cars on it to build that speed up in the line.
Definitely a lot of work behind the wheel here to find that right line. We saw Ronnie Norman have a tiny bit of success with it. It was not enough to overcome Jared Hughes in the first race. As you see, Carl Pooler getting up in the wall a little bit, but he's got a fan in the stands. Ashley Pooler in our simrapmarket.com YouTube chat room right now. Ashley Pooler, let's go Pooler number 71. Well, he's in 5th place, but here's a battle for the top spot. Evan Patinko and Adam Buzzio racing it out side by side.
And Buzzio doing something we've only really seen Ronnie be able to do, which is get that inside line to do some work, as he makes a beautiful slide and is able to take first position back for now, but there will be a fight coming back from Evan on the outside.
That was a beautiful slide by Adam Buzzio, and he now is able to clear Patinko and get back into that top spot. But will Patinko... Oh, he goes up and smacks the wall there on exit. Is he going to be able to get this one figured out and get back up there to challenge Buzzio? I don't know. Patinko up into that wall again. And right now, it's a question mark if Patinko doing a lot of damage on that machine right now.
Yeah, and you wonder if he might have caused a bit more damage because he seems to be struggling to get off the wall right now.
Well, it's that cushion up there is a little unpredictable. It can feel real good sometimes, and at others feels like it's a Hoover in the wall sucking you up into it. But Patinko sitting in second place. Can he hold on to the end? He's just going to run that wall there. I don't know if you're allowed to wall ride in the series, but Borbell takes advantage down on the low line. Steven Borbell for Next Level Motorsports joins his teammate Adam Buzzio, now 1-2 here in Eldora.
I think we've learned the Ross Chastain line does not work here at Eldora.
Oh, and Borbell gets a little loose on exit, and it has cost him a little bit, but not enough to allow Patinko to get back into this one. Right now, a little bit of a race further on back. This is Maddox and Pooler who are racing for that fourth spot. This is a pretty tight battle here, but Pooler is cooling off a little bit. Not quite able to close that gap up there to Maddox. We'll keep an eye on that right now. Buzzio opening up a full second gap back to Borbell. And it's a little ways back now. I don't think Borbell has got the time to get back up there and challenge. Patinko may have done a little bit too much damage to that number 96 to be able to be competitive here in the remaining laps of this heat.
And you can see the evolution of the track seems to be pretty quick as we see Patinko back there trying to find a different line to get by. And kind of like I talked about earlier, you can be faster than another car, but if you can't make that bottom line work, that speed disappears as soon as you get to their back bumper, and there's no way around them. And we've only seen a couple guys be able to actually hit that lower line and make it work.
Yeah, it's, definitely one of those things that you've got to feel it out as the race goes on. And now you're seeing a battle happening here between Borbell as Patinko has found some of that speed back. Maybe he's been playing with that line. And again, some of this could be due to that oval refresh kind of changing things up as the drivers go around, push the dirt around on the track. Might open up a lower groove, might open up a middle groove. Right now, Patinko getting dangerously close with just 2 laps remaining. Buzzio easily holding on to the top spot, but these two fighting it out for second.
And this is a great contest right now. 2 guys who are on very similar speed, but in searching for ways to kind of get that extra tenth on the other guy. As you see, both Borbell and Patinko are trying to experiment with their lines every corner.
Well, and that's going to do it. Adam Buzzio takes the checkered flag, and Steven Borbell in second, Patinko in third. Congratulations to Buzzio taking maximum amount of points there. And we'll go ahead and get the final results up here on the screen, and then we'll rack them up here for the feature race coming up here momentarily on VirtualRacing.Network. Adam Buzzio takes heat number 2 for the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series at Eldora, round number 9. Steven Borbell in second place, his teammate at Next Level Motorsports. Evan Patinko in third. Brendan Maddox in fourth. Carl Pooler, 5th place. Matthew Erickson in 6th. And David Hall did not get to complete many laps. He ends up back in 7th place. So right now, we have a little bit of a warm-up. So we'll get a chance to go over the grid here in just a moment. We'll be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a look at some of the goodies over at Sundance Pizza. Stay tuned. welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Checkered flag on this warm-up session. Appreciate everybody hanging in there with us as we get ready for our feature event here, the SimWrapMarket.com Down and Dirty 150. And it's time to light off the starting grid here for tonight's race, for tonight's feature race. And let's get it up here on the screen. Jared Hughes going to be starting on pole position. Next to him will be Adam Buzzio. On that second row, Richard Wolsifer and Stephen Borbell. On the third row will be Ronnie Norman and Evan Patinko. The fourth row will be Patrick Hernandez and Brendan Maddox. Fifth row, Dustin Stallings and Carl Pooler. Starting in 11th place, Christopher Campbell and Matthew Erickson. And starting in 13th place, Jeremy Clapper Newell and David Hall, Zachary King, both of those drivers having issues in their heats. And so as a result, having to start at the back. Hopefully they'll be able to regroup here and get in a solid race here at Eldora. You want to finish strong. That's always the key in these league races. And for the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series, Zachary King trying to do everything he can, as is Brendan Maddox, to get into that chase group before the end of this regular season. I'm Trevor Greenfield, joined here by Kalen Davies in the booth here at VirtualRacing.Network. Seen a couple of great heat races, one by Jared Hughes and Adam Buzzio. And Kalen, we're ready to go here for this feature. You still stand by your original statement, just go hard all the way, 100 laps?
In theory. It's... We don't know what kind of tire wear or if there's any issues with tire wear, so that's going to be the big deal.
Well, we've got fireworks going off in the background. I was like, what the heck is going on? But you can see Jared Hughes right now is actually your leader. Not sure what's going on with their timing and scoring software. But right now, Jared Hughes, your leader there, Richard Wolsifer in second place. Adam Buzzio in third. They're racing it out hard here for that third place on the track. Wolsifer and Buzzio. And now here comes Ronnie Norman into the picture. He's managed to get by now on the low line from Stephen Borbell.
And it looked like Buzzio had a bit of a bad start, which is a shame because I felt like he and Hughes looked like the two fastest in their heats. We'll see if he's able to find that speed that he had in the heat now that he's behind.
Yeah, definitely. It's easier to get out front and try and stay out front than try and pass people here. The slide, always a fun thing to do, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but really there's just one line, so to speak, one fast line, and if you can just get out front and run your laps like Jared Hughes is doing right now, you pretty much got it made. Now, yellow flag laps will count towards the total of 100, and right on cue, we've got a yellow flag here. Not sure if it's for David Hall. Seem to have a note. It looks like maybe Evan Patinko had a moment, so let's step back and see if we can tell what happened here. We're taking a look here. Looks like Evan Patinko gets up into the wall and in fact does send it around, almost collects Brendan Maddox. It's a nice little pirouette and gets it going again.
Yeah, Brendan Maddox is probably extremely happy that he was able to miss that. It was a very close call.
Well, thanks to Sundance Pizza out of Wickenburg, Arizona. We'll take a look at the replay here. Patinko gets up into that wall, and I'm not sure that he didn't get a little bit of help. Let's check this one out from Brendan Maddox's point of view. He may have just collected a little bit of Evan Patinko.
Oh,
Really close. Probably not too much damage, if much contact was made at all. But get it back going again. iRacing pace car out there to collect the field. Evan Patinko gets rolling once again from pit lane. Perfect time to talk about our sponsor, SimWrapMarket.com. iRacing paints made easy. Create stunning iRacing wraps and paints with SimWrap Market. In addition to our wide range of graphic assets and designs, we're also known for our smart templates, which utilize Photoshop features to automate aligning graphics across panels. Smart templates help our customers save time and effort when creating custom paint schemes. At SimWrap Market, we offer a variety of products, including number kits, overlays, vector smart templates, base designs, and patterns. We're committed to delivering the best products and services possible, and we are grateful for the support of the sim racing community. Thank you for choosing SimWrapMarket.com. We are back underway here at Eldora for the SimWrapMarket.com. Down and dirty 150. Jared Hughes, your leader. Richard Wolsifer in second place. Adam Buzzio right there in third. And I believe Dustin Stallings has had to jump to the pits. And we've got a yellow flag out at the moment, so I'm not sure if that is related. But no real change in the front group running order.
you can't see right away. I didn't see right away anything that would lead to a caution.
To see, this is Jared Hughes. So normally our timing and scoring software, there was David Hall up into the wall a little bit later, and Evan Patinko perhaps on the low line. It could have been Dustin Stallings coming out of the pits that caused the caution, but I did not see a large incident on the track. So no huge incidents to catch anybody in the front, certainly. And we are back under caution here for the second time in this feature race here tonight. Kalen, it's got to be a lot as a driver to have all these cautions, because you really just want to unleash this thing and get it going. I mean, how do you really keep it all under control, refocus, get ready for the restart?
Well, and the restart is the important thing here, because the restarts are so difficult when everyone's trying to get to the same line. And especially if you're on that inside line, you're doing everything you can to jump on that start to where you can get to your preferred line without losing time. As we've seen, Adam Buzzio is extremely fast, but he hasn't been able to get to that line. And it seems like every time he does, there's another caution, and he ends up being in a position to be on that inside line again.
Well, right now it's going to be Wolsifer on that outside line as Hughes gets a great jump here into turn number one. He's going to be in the lead. Wolsifer there holding on to his bumper. Very close. Wolsifer dives to the inside on Jared Hughes. Wolsifer momentarily in the lead, but he's not able to hold on to it. Comes down the track. As a result, he'll lose that chance at a top position. We'll see if he can gather himself. Brendan Maddox sideways here. He goes around and into the inside wall. That will bring out the caution. He was running so well up in the top five, and Maddox in that Castle.io machine has an incident that brings out our caution yet again.
And once again, trying to hold that open through that top line, it's such a just a knife edge that you have to hang on when you slide up to that top line from the lower line, not to lose the rear end.
Yeah, it's certainly, you know, when we'll watch here as Christopher Campbell came through this and what he sees with Maddox up in front, getting sideways, coming down the track. There he is on the inside. Campbell squeezing to the outside there. But it's a fine line. It's a very fine line between nailing that exit and getting the perfect amount of speed off of the corner, and unfortunately looping that car around put a little bit too much gas into it. Tell you what, that Castle.io machine has seen better days. It's we talk about the Darlington stripe. He's got himself a Eldora stripe going on tonight.
Yeah, and the way this race has been going, I don't think that's the last stripe we'll see on it.
And there's a lot more racing to go. 81 laps here to do at Eldora. So they choose again, and Hughes going to be starting on that inside line that's been so successful for him. Wolsifer on the outside line. WolfX Live, WolfX Live, checking in with us over in our YouTube chat room. That's Richard Wolsifer. SimWrap Market in the house. Great to have you guys, and great for you to be certainly SimWrap Market. Thank you so much for sponsoring this race. Hopefully lots of folks will tune in, simwrapmarket.com, and get their wraps all sorted out for their iRacing needs. Here we go, back underway. It's Wolsifer in second. Norman gets up into the wall. That allows Borbell and Buzzio to just cruise right on by. Norman.
Yeah, that's a shame for Norman, because he really needs a top 3 finish in this main race to try to get some of his points on the championship leader, trying to take as many points away from this as he possibly can.
Well, of course, there's really 2 championships. You got the overall championship after the chase is over, and then you've got the regular season championship. A lot of drivers really pride themselves on taking the regular season championship. It has a lot of meaning on a personal level to a lot of these drivers, and right now it's kind of slipping out of the grasp of Ronnie Norman, as Adam Buzzio has managed to take a bunch of points here already, and he's looking very good in this race, like he may finish in the top 3. Stephen Borbell also ahead of him in the regular season championship order. And right now, that's how they run 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the racetrack. And this guy, Jared Hughes, though, I mean, he has just set sail. He's been able to open a gap time and time again in the first heat and here in the feature. Nobody in the same zip code right now as Jared Hughes. Richard Wolsifer, though, he's doing a bang-up job hanging on. And, you know, Wolsifer put in a lot of practice laps. He goes up there and just touches the wall, and the yellow flag is out. I believe it's for David Hall, who has now brought it to the pits. It's possible it could have something to do. We'll see here about Hall. And we'll jump over the top here and get a good bird's eye view of what took place for Hall. Runs up on that top line, and it just comes around on him.
Bit of a carbon copy of some of the other incidents we've seen. You get in that high line, trying to pedal the throttle so you don't go around too far, and just mismanaged it a little bit and ended up doing circles.
Yeah, it's easy enough to do. Unfortunately, you know, like I said, it's primarily these drivers are out there racing asphalt ovals, but you know, you got to do the different tracks. You got to do short tracks. You got to do longer tracks. Certainly, there's multiple different tracks, styles to do. D-shaped ovals, drafting tracks, etc. And then you get to road courses. Now, a lot of drivers not as skilled. If you're a really skilled asphalt racer, you may not, oval racer, you may not be as good on the road racing tracks. That's to be understood. But it's very uncommon that you get a lot of dirt tracks if you're an asphalt oval racer in a league. NASCAR, of course, doing the Bristol dirt races, which really started everybody thinking, hey, I guess we can run these NASCAR next-gen machines on dirt. Why don't we try it? Here on VirtualRacing.Network, we have covered previous leagues that have done it, but the Bristol dirt track kind of had a little bit of a glitch to it. So it didn't quite play out as good of a racing surface as it could have been. Right now, Eldora is about as good as it can be. We've seen some great racing. What will we see here in the remaining laps in this feature race? Find out. Richard Wolsifer hanging on the back bumper of Jared Hughes.
And Hughes is so good at those restarts. He's probably the only one getting a good bottom line restart. I'm sure it helps that nobody's in front of him while he's doing it, but he is able to jump out very quickly on those restarts and get in front, which is obviously doing great things for him, being able to have that fresh open track and run whatever line he chooses.
And we're watching Ronnie Norman right now back in 6th place, who's just having all kinds of issues. He's been swamped here on both sides. Stephen Borbell ahead of him. Evan Patinko having a really good run right now up into 4th place. He's managed to get by Stephen Borbell, while Ronnie Norman is back there cruising around in 6th. Like I said, really struggling, but Carl Pooler about to close in on Norman for that 6th spot. 71 for Limitless, just trying to use up what grip is available up on the high line, on the low line. Go up, rub the wall a little bit, why not? Ronnie Norman getting a little sideways there, and now looks like Hernandez has managed to challenge Carl Pooler. So Hernandez, one of the phenoms who's been coming up through the championship order here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series right now, up into the top 10 in 7th place. And I'll tell you what, Kalen, it doesn't matter whether it's a dirt track or it's an asphalt oval or a road course. They all count the same when you're at the end of the race. You get the same amount of points.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why the regular season points seem to mean so much, because if you win the regular season championship, that means you have been the most consistent over a variety of different tracks. Dirt, road, short ovals, more of the medium length ovals. We don't do a ton of long ovals on this series, so a lot of it's shorter track stuff, but it means that you're the most consistent over a lot of different disciplines in these cup cars.
And that's exactly right, and that's why it means so much, because the chase kind of resets everything and makes it a little different. But if you can win the regular season, that has a lot of meaning. It's kind of the old school NASCAR approach. Now you see this replay here, Brendan Maddox getting into the back of Zachary King. Unfortunately, Zachary King's internet connection has been an issue in the past, and it looks like it was an issue here as King got wiped out when he rejoined. We'll see if we can get a better replay of it looking back from Brendan Maddox. But you'll see King kind of pop back into the picture here. There he is. And there King goes up and hits the wall. So I believe that might... Well, King's still out there racing, but I know that the admin team had been very aware of his blinking, and just across the board for anybody who might be having, storm issues, etc., having a blinking internet connection, they will be eventually asked to park. So we'll see whether or not King is able to stay in the race the rest of this race. But Jared Hughes back on the gas here as we exit turn number 4, underneath Barney the Flag Man, and into turn number 1. Right now, it is Jared Hughes, Richard Wilsifer, and back here in 3rd spot, Adam Buzzio, with Evan Patinko now battling Stephen Borbell. Ronnie Norman right there behind in the NOS Energy Drink Machine.
It looks like Wilsifer is fighting for the lead now, as Hughes actually went to the lower side instead of the higher side that he's been running, and trying to clear Wilsifer, and so far hasn't been able to do so.
Well, Wilsifer puts in a great move when we were focusing the camera elsewhere. As you said, he takes that top spot. So Wilsifer says, not so fast, Jared Hughes. I may be the one to win tonight's race. Still 60 laps remaining here in the feature race at Eldora Speedway. And Hughes struggling to get back onto a line to get up there and challenge Richard Wilsifer for that 2nd spot.
And what a move by Wilsifer, because Hughes has been, both in this race and his heat, the class of the field. So being able to put that move and force Hughes to now have to try and pass when we've already talked about how difficult it is to pass from behind. Great move by Wilsifer, just absolutely riding it out on the top line, and does an incredible job to get that position.
Yeah, and we're taking a look at that replay right now. He really got a great exit off of those corners, able to take over that top spot and come back to the live picture. Wilsifer still in that top spot right now. Jared Hughes hanging on to second place. Adam Buzzio in third in the Tri-Vista machine. The number 5 Ford for Next Level Motorsports. Evan Patinko up into that fourth spot. He's having a solid race here in the feature. Looking really fantastic for Spirit Racing in that Sealmaster number 96. Stephen Borbell in fifth place in the other Next Level Motorsports machine. Of course, Gavin Rogers not in tonight's race, your championship leader, having to sit out. But Carl Puller right now up in sixth, so he's taken that position away from Ronnie Norman, and he is hanging on for dear life in that sixth spot. He knows if he can hang on, he might even have a chance at a top 5 here tonight.
And we see Ronnie just having a disaster race for him. He really needed the points, and not only is he behind the other people he's competing with in the regular season championship, but now he's falling even further behind people that he's ahead of in the standings, and it just looks like he can't seem to find the pace today.
No, he's just not able to find that right line. He wants to clip down on exit, and we've got a yellow flag out right now. And again, still trying to figure out exactly what the cause of that one is. Got Patrick Hernandez down a lap right now.
Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed in timing, and I'm wondering if it has something to do with him.
Well, we'll take a look. Let's back this one up. I know David Hall had just come in. Patrick Hernandez had come into and out of the pits here. So we'll see whether or not he does get up into the wall a little bit. But I'm not sure if he is the cause of this caution. Could also be just a weird timing thing with somebody kind of slow on a low part of the track. I don't see anybody else up here having issues. Clapper Newell, Christopher Campbell, Brendan Maddox, everybody still pointed forwards. We do have David Hall in the pits. So let's take a look. Did perhaps David Hall bring this one out? So you see, as David Hall right here is going slowly on the track, this is probably the cause for the caution. And there he does decide to park it. Actually, he pulls it in. I'm sorry, that's how you get into pit lane. But it's very likely that because the leaders were coming around, that is what triggered the caution. So, but in the meantime, hey, exciting turn of events here for all of our fans in our YouTube chat room. Richard Wilsifer, having his best race of the season so far, has managed to pass Jared Hughes. And Jared has been the pace maker so far here at Eldora Speedway. But Wilsifer's given him a solid run for his money. Is he going to be able to hold on the outside? He gets a great start. Wilsifer holds on to the lead. Jared Hughes in second. Looking on back, Evan Patinko, Adam Buzzio, Stephen Borbell, Ronnie Norman fighting it out. Borbell gets loose on entry. And we've got another yellow flag. I believe Clapper Newell having a problem here in the number 13.
And I think that all started with Borbell. It looked like, I would like to see another angle of it, but it looked like Norman might have gotten into the back of Borbell, and it kind of stacked up the rest of the field behind.
Well, we can see Borbell and Norman just up in front there. I'm trying to figure out exactly what plays a role. Oh, you can see the 68 just coming down enough to tap that 13 machine. And not really any place for him to go. We'll watch from on board here with Clapper Newell.
And unfortunately, that's kind of what happens when everybody gets bunched up in a little area. Oh, it looked like it actually happened the same time as the Norman contact happened. They kind of hit at the same time.
Well, let's take a look at Ronnie Norman and his onboard here. We can see exactly what you're talking about. Goes into the corner. He's got a little bit of steam on Borbell. Comes up the track, makes a slight amount of contact there with the left rear of Borbell. Borbell gets sideways, and oh, there's David Hall parked on the track. I wasn't sure if that was in fact the cause for caution. We're gonna take one more look here. This is from On Board with David Hall, who currently had another moment and just loops it around himself. He's done this before.
A bit of it all going on this lap.
It's multiple different contacts. This is short track racing, reversing down the track. That's not really advisable in racing, so he does get it righted, and Hall's parked right now. But Richard Wolsenberg still in the lead as we come back to green with just 45 laps remaining here at Eldora Speedway. Jared Hughes hanging on just barely as Evan Patinko works on the high side. And now Jared Hughes falls back to third. Evan Patinko for Spirit Racing into second.
And what a shock. As well as Hughes had been running, all of a sudden now we find him back in third after this cycle of restarts, as the restarts have kind of killed Hughes' momentum. And now you have Patinko fighting for second place, and what a quietly good run Patinko's had.
What a slide job by Jared Hughes, but Patinko able to get back by. Patinko slides back up in front of Hughes. They almost make contact. They'll both lose positions, I believe, as we're now under yellow, so they will not lose those positions. Let's take a look. It looks like, I'm not sure if Clapper Newell involved in this one, but our software telling us that he is. So several cars possibly involved, including Matthew Erickson and Dustin Stallings. Take a look here. As you see, Erickson come across, grab Newell, and Stallings gets involved as well. Oh my goodness me. On this dirt, driver's getting a little loose. Chaos ensues.
And Clapper Newell, this is the second or third time he's gotten caught up in an incident that had absolutely nothing to do with him, where he was just a bystander of someone else's accident.
Oh me, oh my. Not a fun way to get your feature race in here for Clapper Newell, getting caught up here as Matthew Erickson drifts up the track and then comes down, makes that contact, and they lock together up into the outside wall here at Eldora. They reverse together. Clapper Newell gets it going again. Now, Dustin Stallings did make contact here. Let's take a look at what he saw. You see Clapper Newell and Erickson up in front. There's their contact. 68 just happens to get through. Oh, and there's additional contact there. Not exactly sure who he made contact with. We'll have to jump up above.
Might have been either Stallings or the 51.
That is the 51. So the 51 of Zachary King on the outside line there, as you see Stalling coming back up the track. And now we'll jump back to the live picture as we are back under green here. These are short cautions here at Eldora Speedway. Up into the wall a little bit is Evan Patinko as they're racing it out for second place. This is Jared Hughes. Evan Patinko in second place back here.
And we got a wreck in the back.
Big wreck here in the back. 4 or 5 cars involved. 6 cars involved in this one. Maddox, Clapper Newell, Ronnie Norman part of this, Patrick Hernandez, and Matthew Erickson. Ronnie Norman sent to the back of the field. This is absolute calamity here and a terrible turn of events for Ronnie Norman. Let's take a look from up above and see if we can tell exactly what happened here.
Norman looks like he's in the wall a little bit, getting into the corner. They try to go 3 wide, and he and Hernandez just stick together and create a big incident for everybody behind.
Kind of just look like pinballs out there on the track. Let's see if Brendan Maddox involved in this one as well, trailing from behind. Now he sees this wreck happen in front, but he's trying to go up on that high side. He just kind of drives into it, and he comes down the track into Clapper Newell. You see the 68 there of Campbell make contact as well. My goodness.
Hernandez kind of got stuck in a difficult spot because Norman was into the wall before the turn, so he had lost so much momentum and was still kind of stuck on that outside wall. And Hernandez was trying to keep the speed while not going up the track and just wasn't able to avoid the front end of Ronnie.
Sundance Pizza out of Wickenburg, Arizona. Great pizza, wings, and so much more. Sandwiches, tasty ice cream. It's all there at Sundance Pizza. If you're anywhere around Wickenburg, Arizona, it is the place to stop in. Clapper Newell, unfortunately, in that Sundance Pizza replay, definitely showing that he had a moment there, and that is, as you said, it's been so many moments, unfortunately, for Clapper Newell getting caught in the middle of others' incidents. Now, you see that car all the way at the back of this pack. That's Ronnie Norman. Yes, he's one of the championship's contenders, but can Ronnie Norman storm forward at Eldora? Boy, that's a big ask right now. Still 34 laps to go here as Jared Hughes fighting tooth and nail. He's going to send it. Thought he was going to come up right into Richard Wolsifer, but Hughes slots into third, and now we've got Hernandez, I believe, with another incident. There he is, parked off of turn 4.
And I feel like the big difference right now in the race for Wolsifer is he and Hughes had been doing the top line and bottom line for the restarts, but now that he's in first, he is able to be the first to accelerate, and it seems like that advantage that Hughes has is gone completely. Because we see a nice little game of pinball towards the back of the pack there.
Well, Clapper Newell caught in the middle of this one again. We'll see if we jump to the top, if we can tell exactly how this one all went down. But they're 3 wide. They're never really advisable. The 68 does not make contact with the 13. 13 comes down into Brendan Maddox and then back up into the 68 of Christopher Campbell. And once again, Patrick Hernandez getting caught in the midst of that. So,
quite a big hit for Hernandez as well.
Yeah, and there we were talking about those stripes. Richard Wolsifer with a sizable stripe down that machine, but I tell you what, it's not holding him back so far. He's been able to hold his own once he got to the front of this race.
And you feel like he got stronger in the heat as the heat went on, and it seems like he's getting stronger in this race as it goes on, where he's just building that confidence lap by lap.
And that's exactly what we were thinking. Again, dirt racing, you would think that drivers might be more inclined to try dirt racing out, but it really is a totally different discipline. And I mean, I enjoy all the different disciplines, but when you really get serious about iRacing and get serious about sim racing, you really do choose your preferred style of racing. And so a lot of these drivers, while they may be very experienced on ovals, dirt racing, not second nature to them. And so they do get a chance here as it goes on to really feel it out. And who knows, maybe Richard Wolsifer, he may love dirt racing by the time this one's all over. Richard Wolsifer, your leader right now. Jared Hughes holding on as somebody hits the wall hard. I believe that might have been Carl Pooler who drifted up and hit the wall. He's running back there in 6th place. Ronnie Norman up into 7th place. And we
have a caution spinner in the back.
It is King. And, King restarted. He actually was quite a ways up the track. But he got past a bunch. In fact, I'm going to start this one on the green flag. This is Zachary King. He was running in like 6th position. And then he just got absolutely freight trained. Let's watch how he takes this restart here. Jump over the top here as he's on the outside of Carl Pooler there. Gets a little loose coming into the corner. Maddox gets close to him. Pooler on the low side. Pooler comes up and drifts in front of him. Pooler up into the wall, and then that's what we saw on camera. He came back across, and then here comes Ronnie Norman on the low side. There goes Brendan Maddox, and around goes Zachary King and completes the trip to the back of the pack with that one. right now.
Yet another case of a guy getting a bit too high and just not being able to hold it along that line without spinning.
Absolutely correct. Well, we're going to take a moment here to step aside, catch our breath. We'll be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Don't go anywhere. Just get real hungry looking at that Sundance pizza. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. We are ready to roll once again here, coming out of this caution. Green flag is out at the start-finish stripe, and Wolsifer back into the lead in turn one. Buzzio and Hughes now fighting it out for second place. Buzzio on the high side, up into the wall. Hasn't slowed.
That's actually going to help out Hughes, because Hughes had a bit of a problem there on the low side, but because Buzzio got into the wall, Hughes was able to keep his position.
Well, and now Patinko up into Buzzio as they continue around the track. This is a little bit like bumper cars out here, just sliding around and hitting cars, hitting the wall, just trying to keep it straight. But you can imagine with all that horsepower under the hood of these machines, it is an absolute bronco to hang on to here in this Ford. This is a wild pony that these drivers are having to hang on to out here. And a lot of side-by-side racing. Ronnie Norman getting back into the picture towards the top five.
Yeah, Ronnie really trying to make that low line work. He's been running it for a while, somewhat on his own, but maybe hoping that he's able to start enough traction down there to where he can make some moves, because that's as a beautiful slide by Jared Hughes. What an incredible move. We'll see if he can hold on to it, but that was an impressive slide.
Richard Wolsifer with an impressive slide of his own. He's going to run Hughes down the track. Wolsifer recovering, but not able to take over that top spot. He's going to go down to the low line on Hughes, and he's able to take the spot once again. Adam Buzzio now really close into this top two group. Is Buzzio going to have something to say about it? If these two in front get together, Buzzio might just inherit this lead.
And you get to the last 20 laps, and these guys are no longer playing nice. They're trying to force their way. You don't know how many more laps you're going to get, especially since caution laps count. So it's go for it time.
It's been go for it time since lap number one. These guys have not taken any time off. Richard Wolsifer hanging on by the skin of his teeth right now, but he's been he's had good pace here in this feature. He might have what it takes to hang on to this lead and win this one, as we're under 20 laps, 17 to go, 16 at the stripe. Hughes in second, Adam Buzzio in third, Evan Patinko sitting in fourth spot. Stephen Borbell hangs it out right now in fifth. Ronnie Norman still outside of that top five. Carl Pooler just behind him in seventh place. Up front, though, still quite a battle raging between Wolsifer and Hughes as we come down to the last 15 laps. Donna Lee saying, yum, yum, Sundance Pizza. Come to Wickenburg, Arizona. Get a free pizza. Oh, I'll be there in a minute. I'll just drive over here from Florida to Wickenburg and score some free pizza. It looks really good. Ashley Pooler, let's go, number 56, Get It Limitless. Well, he's hanging in the top seven. Carl Pooler is, but Patinko was up there. And right now at 96 for Spirit Racing, Evan Patinko is, but Carl Pooler there for Limitless in seventh. We'll have to see whether or not he can get up there and challenge for the top five. Wolsifer and Hughes battling it out for the top spot with just 13 laps remaining, and the fans are no longer sitting down. They're cheering on the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. This could be a very exciting finish.
And now you look in the foreground, we're coming up on some possible lap traffic. And this is the first time we've had a green flag run long enough to where this is becoming an issue. And this race may be decided on who can navigate the lap traffic better.
Well, will Zachary King, who is that lap traffic, stick to the bottom of the track? Will they have to split some of these cars as they come through the field? That could make it very interesting and certainly advantage to the driver who takes the higher line right now. 10 laps to go when they come across the line this time as they go by Matthew Erickson and put him a lap down. Wolsifer, Hughes, your top two. Buzzio now feeling some pressure back here from Evan Patinko. We are under caution once again as Zachary King, I believe, is the reason for this caution, but that may or may not be accurate. Let's take a look at this one. There's King. Oh, 71 there of Pooler up into the wall, comes down and collects Zachary King, and King not able to get it straightened out. And he gets a further tap there from, I believe, Clapper Newell. We'll take a look back here at what King saw as Pooler got up into the wall there. And King tries to get back on the gas. He spins it around. A little love tap there from Clapper Newell. But this is going to check off some of these extra laps right now. And we should have quite a shootout to the finish here.
Yeah, this is going to be a grandstand finish. We're only going to have a couple laps left. This should be absolutely insane to finish this race.
Well, we take a look inside the cockpit at Richard Wolsifer, who is determined to win this race for Limitless Esports, up there in that top spot. And of course, that's who Ashley Pooler was rooting on in the YouTube chat room. Limitless Esports, number 56, Richard Wolsifer, and 71, Carl Pooler. Right now, both of them in the top 10, but Wolsifer having a fantastic race. Will he be able to defend that top spot from Jared Hughes? Will it be Adam Buzzio? Will take advantage, be able to take that top spot? Will Hughes come through with his first victory here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series? It's anyone's race. We're back underway here at Eldora, perhaps for the final time. Wolsifer still hanging on to the top spot.
Wolsifer got a great jump when we went green, and he is able to pull out an extremely big lead for being half a lap.
Well, Ronnie Norman gets a heck of a run on this restart. He's up into fourth place. Stormin' Ronnie Norman on his way forward. They're kind of crashing behind. I believe Clapper Newell may be having an incident. Carl Pooler also
green.
Pooler also falling back, but we do stay green. Wolsifer still at the front. Hughes in second, Buzzio in third. Ronnie Norman has somehow worked his way back into this top five. He's in fourth. Brendan Maddox in fifth. Borbell sitting in that sixth spot. Campbell in seventh. We've got one around. That's Maddox. And we're under caution. I believe we will still have green-white checkers here. So a chance to finish this one under green. We'll get 3 attempts. But Maddox, your cause for caution on that one. Let's take a look at what caught out Brendan Maddox here tonight. Maddox already has that Castle.io 33 machine with some substantial stripes on the side, but he gets a love tap there from, I believe, Clapper Newell. Let's take a look on board. Taking a look
Looks
backwards.
like once again gets just a little bit up there.
It's actually Borbell who manages to get into him. as he starts to come around. We'll take a look from Borbell. This is what he saw.
Yeah, just gets that line a little bit wrong, gets a little too high. Borbell has that little bit of contact. Doesn't look like it did much damage, though.
No, and he tried to avoid it, but there's only so much you can do. You can't stomp on the brakes. You spin yourself right out. So, hey, we've got a green-white checker coming up. The fans pay for the whole seat, but they aren't using them right now. Standing room only, sold out event here at Eldora Speedway for the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Sim Wrap Market, down and dirty 150. It has lived up to its name. It certainly has been down and dirty. Are we going to see a clean finish? Will it be Richard Wolsifer in victory lane? Adam Buzzio, Jared Hughes. Buzzio and Wolsifer going to be starting side by side here. So here we go. Hughes manages to eke just ahead there as they were working into turn one. Hughes takes second position. Buzzio in third. Norman right now in fourth, and they're wrecking behind. I believe we stay green for the moment, King, and we will finish this one. There will be no yellow flags. Wolsifer in the lead. Just 2 corners remain to hang on and be in victory lane for the first time this season. Hughes goes to the low line. Who will it be across the start-finish stripe? It's going to be Richard Wolsifer, who will take victory here in Eldora. What a finish as he takes victory for the first time in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series.
And what an incredible race for Wolsifer. He was not one of the favorites coming into this, but has done an incredible job of just getting better and better and better as the races and the heats went on, and gets a well-deserved first win in the series.
Well, as the fireworks go off in the background, which Richard Wolsifer will celebrate here, and Limitless eSports takes their first victory of the season, and Richard Wolsifer does as well. We're going to get the final results for you up on the screen, and then we'll get a chance to chat with your top 3 here in just a moment. Stay tuned. Well, it was everything that the name of tonight's race might indicate. It was down and dirty. The simwrapmarket.com down and dirty 150 was a barn burner here in Eldora Speedway, round number 9 of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series inaugural season. And Richard Wolsifer puts in the work in practice. Part of the crew that got this sponsorship to happen with simwrapmarket.com, and he reaps the results. He reaps a reward here at Eldora, taking victory. Congratulations to him. Jared Hughes finishing in second place. Third to Adam Buzzio. Fourth will be Ronnie Norman here tonight, recovering fantastically from being pushed all the way to the back in an incident. Storms back into the top 5. Unfortunately for him, Adam Buzzio, one of his championship contending rivals, able to take points away from him in that regular season championship here tonight. Stephen Borbell, third place in the championship coming in. He'll finish in 5th. Carl Pooler, second Limitless eSports machine in the top 6. Congratulations to him. A lot to celebrate over there in the Pooler household. I'm sure Ashley Pooler very happy with tonight's results. Brendan Maddox finishing in 7th place. Christopher Campbell in 8th. Patrick Hernandez in 9th. Evan Patinko had a top 5 machine, but ended up back there in 10th. Matthew Erickson in 11th. Jeremy Clapper Newell gets the award for getting caught up in the most amount of other people's incidents in 12th. Zachary King in 13th. He did not do what he needed to do tonight to get himself up into that chase group for the end of the season. 14th going to Dustin Stallings, and 15th to David Hall, who looked like he did not want to be out there on the dirt tonight. So with that, we're going to get a chance here to pull in our top finishers. And while we wait for everybody to hop into our waiting room here, why don't we pull in this guy right now? Our championship leader, Gavin Rogers, popped into our waiting room. I figured it'd be a good chance to chat with you. You got a chance to see a lot of this race, Gavin. What did you think of tonight's race out here at Eldora?
Hey guys, yeah, you know, it was definitely a good race. I wasn't able to watch much of it since I'm on the walk at Disney, but seeing Richard win, you know, that's always a good feeling. Seeing some guys getting their first wins in leagues, I know how hard they try. He's been trying for a very long time, and he's really worked hard for it. He's really deserved it. So it's really cool to see him win. And I know there's a lot of cautions, but that's just what happens when you have these for the first time. But we'll move on from it. We'll do better the next time. And yeah, good race overall.
Well, we'll let you get back to Disneyland or Disney World out there, and enjoy yourself out there with your family. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. We'll see you next week.
All right, appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
So that was Gavin Rogers. That's what he had to do. But I'll tell you what, a lot more fun than that was had out there by these racers. Adam Buzzio taking third place out there tonight. Adam, you took your heat. You had to feel really good coming into this feature race. Tell us about your night out there. How did it feel out on the dirt with these next-gen machines? And congratulations taking third.
Yeah, man, another third place. I'll add it to the total. Honest to God, man, yeah, I won the heat, which was awesome. I came into this race with zero confidence. I have done exactly, I think, one dirt race my entire iRacing career, if you will, and it was at Dirt Bristol, which doesn't really count. I put a lot of practice laps in trying to figure it out, and I think we got it down pretty good there. I was surprised I was able to keep up with Richard and Jared there at the end of the race. If we would have had more green, I'm sure they probably would have gapped me a little bit, but to me, the car felt great, man. The setup we had was actually from Michael Conti. He provided us with a setup, so shout out to him. But it drove great. I mean, I had a lot of fun when we actually got to racing. I'm a little bummed out about how many yellows we ended up having, but it's kind of the nature of things when you take a bunch of guys that are used to, one discipline of racing and maybe don't branch out much. So, and I'm guilty of that too, man. Like I said, I've only done one race before this, so, but I had a lot of fun.
Well, and that was the key is everybody has mixed experience on dirt. Do you think it played out the way that you kind of imagined it when you were setting the schedule at the beginning? Do you think Eldora was a great track to host this dirt race? Is it something that you would consider for the future of BRB?
We were all really, really excited for this race. I'm not quite sure why it didn't go as well as we thought it would. I'll leave it at that, but I don't think we'll be doing a dirt race for season 2, unless we can get, unless we get the guys putting in like a significant amount of time to try to, put on a little bit better of a race. I won't take it off the table, but I think for right now we're probably gonna shelf it.
Well, that being said, still an excellent race up at the front. You, Jared, Richard, having a great battle. Ronnie Norman getting pushed all the way to the back and then fighting his way back to 4th place. It was very exciting to call here, and I'm sure it was very exciting to watch. That being said, we get back to the regular sort of season schedule. Your thoughts as we get back to some regular tracks like Gateway in Michigan and Rockingham?
Gateway is my favorite track in iRacing, so I can't wait to go to Gateway. I absolutely love that racetrack. I don't know why people hate Gateway, but I love it. I've had success there in the past, so I'm really looking forward to getting there and hopefully getting a good finish, maximizing points as much as we can. But yeah, man, no, as far as the racing here tonight, though, when we were racing, the battle up front was so much fun. I mean, I think it was me, Jared, Richard, Ronnie was up there. Evan was up there with us for a little bit. Steven was up there. I mean, I had so much fun while we were racing. So I hope it was fun for everybody to watch at home. I appreciate you guys, doing the broadcast and putting on such a good show, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, obviously it was a different kind of race for us to cover up here for BRB, but very exciting and a lot to cover. Kaylin was telling me how there's barely any time to really talk very long because there's something else that's going on out there, but still a lot of fun. Adam, great job getting third. I mean, I know you want to get wins, etc., but hey, you keep getting those third places. That's the way to stay up there in that championship fight. Anybody you want to give a shout out to tonight before we move on?
Yeah, for sure. And real quick, just to kind of piggyback on what you just said, I have won 2 league championships in my day, and I had winless seasons in both of those championships. So I'll point these guys to death if I have to. But yeah, shout out real quick. Of course, obviously, you guys for the broadcast. You guys do a great job for us. Sincerely appreciate it. I want to give a big shout out to Rev up in race control tonight. He had his hands full pretty much all night, and he's a true pro. And he guided us to the end there. Shout out to Richard for getting his first win, man. I'm so happy for him. If I couldn't win it or Steven couldn't win it, I'm glad he did. I've been racing with Richard for a long time, pulling for him to get a win, so happy to see it. Thank Buttkicker, Sundance Pizza, Travis Idealis. Thank my teammate Steven. Gavin, we miss you, buddy. And thank everybody for coming out tonight. Oh, thank my wife, Julie. Can't forget the wife.
Definitely. Never can forget her. And it was exciting for everybody, including apparently Gavin, who checked in while he was out there.
I saw that. That was funny. Good recovery on that, by the way. That was handled it like a pro.
Yeah, well, it's we've done a lot of these broadcasts for sure. So, hey, Adam, fantastic run out there tonight. Whether or not we see Eldora in the future or dirt races, here's one for the ages, and it was a heck of a fight at the front. We had fun calling it, and nice job finishing in third. Maybe you will point them to death going forward. Gateway, I'm right there with you. It's one of my favorite tracks of all, but good luck next week, my friend.
All right, Trevor. Thanks a lot, brother.
So that is Adam Buzzio, who takes third place. Fantastic run for him. I know, as I was mentioning, all these drivers, they want to get wins. They want that second place, but I'll tell you what, consistency is the key, and you just got to stay with those top finishes, and you end up there at the end of the championship run. And Kaylin, I believe that you've had a chance to catch up with Jared Hughes, who finished in second place out there in the number 98 Chevy.
Yes, Jared, welcome. Congratulations on your second place run. How'd you feel the racing was out there today? How easy or hard was it to adjust to the changing racing lines?
I really thought the bottom was going to be a lot faster than it was, so I kept choosing the bottom. And just every time when I was leading, Richard was keeping up, and once he got the lead, I mean, he drove away, and I was too scared to try the top. But it was a fun race. I really wanted that win. That would have been my first league win, but it's good to see Richard get his first win.
Now, along with that, we watched the heats, and in the heats, I definitely felt that you were one of the favorites. Do you feel like it was the restarts that were the reason later in the race that you just couldn't quite get Richard?
Yeah. Pretty nervous the whole time. I was getting into gas too hard and spinning my tires. I'm sure you could see it, my back end swinging around all over the place and trying too hard to catch back up to him. I kept hitting the wall and stuff. You live and you learn. I'd really like to do another dirt race next season, so I guess we'll see.
And do you feel like during the runs that lower line would come in, or was it something that you just couldn't quite build up into during the race?
No, I don't think it was gonna come in. You could try to throw sliders, but there just wasn't enough gear to kind of get that speed going into the corner. So it was a lot of freight training around the top, and that's usually how Eldora ends up being, at least in the races I've done on here.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that from our angle to where it was really hard to get by once you were following, and definitely agree with that. You still managed to get good points in this race. Is there anyone you want to thank for, your great race and your good podium finish?
Like the guys at Jetson Racing, when I started racing on here, they took me in and showed me how to run on dirt. Max, Sean, John, Barrett, and Corbin, and thank the guys over at Bulletproof Motorsports, Josh and Tyson and Kyle, they kind of got me into asphalt and got me over in this league racing with these guys. They're all so much fun to run with, and they've been so helpful with learning how to run these next gen cars and stuff, and I've had an absolute blast, and thank you for you guys for putting the broadcast on. I had some people watching, and they really enjoy watching.
And thank you very much for that, and congratulations on such a great run to second place. And I believe now Trevor has gotten a chance to check in with our winner, Richard Wilsifer.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Jared. Good luck next week, my friend. And yes, I did, in fact, get a chance to catch up with Richard Wilsifer, and he has been absolutely partying down already with his teammate here, Carl Pooler at Limitless Esports. What a night, Richard. You finally take the victory, and it's on a dirt track. It's got to feel great. You've been putting in the work. We saw you in practice. Congratulations. Your first victory and Limitless's first victory here in BRB Buttkicker Cup Series.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. That was a hard-earned victory. Jared was, he was hard to pass. He was hard to keep in front of. This is the first victory I've had in all 4 seasons of racing I've been in, so it's definitely got that monkey off my back finally. It's good to feel.
Well, listening to Jared and Adam talking about it, it seemed like the guys that were the fastest early on, they maybe didn't find it there at the end to be able to challenge you. Were you able to find something there in the feature race that really helped you to not only get around Jared, but stay in front?
So in the heats, I was following Jared and staying behind him on the restarts because dirt track racing is like not necessarily guilty pleasure, but I really love doing it. I grew up in dirt track racing with my dad, so it's something I know very near and dear to my heart. And just sticking behind Jared because I knew he was going to get that jump, and getting the jump on a dirt track is great. But then I saw Ronnie starting to see what Jared was doing, so I was like, I knew that there was no real speed on the inside. So every opportunity I had in the feature to get on that outside restart front row, I knew eventually I was going to have a good restart to get around Jared, and that's exactly what happened on one of the restarts. I had enough momentum coming out of turn 2 that I was able to stay beside him, and that just kind of solidified the pass, and then I just was able to get good restarts the rest of the race and stay in front.
And it was, you did manage to adjust very well in the feature, but it also seemed like you survived this race. You didn't get caught up into others' accidents. When you're coming around at the very end to lap cars, you managed to successfully navigate that. Talk for just a second on all kinds of iRacing, but certainly on the dirt, how important it is to just keep your car clean and not make any mistakes getting into contact.
Oh, when it comes to dirt racing, it's almost guaranteed you're going to damage your car here, especially with the next gens here on dirt. They're not necessarily built for it. I got on the wall quite a bit just trying to stay in front. But coming up to lap traffic, I kind of got lucky there a few times. I was catching up to Zach King, and the yellow would come out. But no, once I was able to catch up to the lap traffic, they did respect us coming around because we were, really fast, and they did get out of the way, so that helped a lot. But dirt is really hard to dodge cars at sometimes because it's just the track's too slick and the cars just want to slide everywhere you want to put it.
And of course, that was the story with the rest of the group. Jared was being a little hard on himself, saying, no, we could see him slipping around out there, but it seemed like everybody was slipping around and a lot of drivers really struggling to keep it straight out there on this dirt track. Fantastic win for yourself and Limitless Esports. Who would you like to thank for your run to first place here tonight?
Oh man, I gotta thank Stints Built for being on the car, an affiliate with them and everything. Thanks for SimWrap Market also for sponsoring the race. They have phenomenal wraps like what me and Carl drive. We use wraps from them all the time. Huge shout out to Limitless also for letting us race under their name as well with that organization. And also a big shout out to my dad. I mean, he's the dirt track master in my family. And just growing up and learning how to dirt race with him, and then doing a lot of dirt racing here on iRacing, he's been a real inspiration to me for all the racing I've done here on iRacing. So a big thanks to my dad.
Well, it was a beautiful win, and really cool to have that racing connection with your father, and certainly to bring on board simwrapmarket.com. You managed to have them on the side of your car to finish the race out there tonight and put, I mean, I think it must be in the vinyl that they're using for those wraps or something, get you that extra, 10th of a second or something out there, but there's some good experts over there. Congratulations, Richard. Fantastic win, and maybe it's the first of many to come.
Yeah, we're hoping, and thank you guys also. You put on a phenomenal broadcast. Appreciate you guys being around.
Thank you. So good luck with the rest of the season, my friend. We'll be watching.
Thank you, sir.
That is Richard Wolsifer, who takes his first ever victory in a league race, and the first one for Limitless as well as himself here, the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. And the one person he didn't thank, I don't believe, was Ashley Pooler, who was out there rooting him on, but certainly part of that fan club out there every single race rooting on Limitless Esports. Fantastic run from all of them. And Kalen, this was an interesting race out there tonight. What are your final thoughts here from Eldora?
I think it went a lot like what we expected. We knew it was going to be a little bit chaotic. We have a lot of oval guys who aren't used to racing dirt and cars that are not built to race dirt. So we kind of expected a little bit of craziness, but in the end, I feel like we got the top 5 that we expected. Maybe not necessarily in the order that we expected, but this is about where I thought people would finish. We have 5 really strong drivers that have been great all year, and they got there in different ways, but I feel like we got the top 5 that we expected.
I completely agree, and also poking his nose in there, Jared Hughes with a fantastic run out there tonight. Might be seeing a lot more from that number 98 of Jared Hughes with a lot of skill out there. We've got a lot more racing yet to come in the next weeks here on VirtualRacing.Network. There on your screen, you can see the remaining schedule: Gateway, Michigan, and Rockingham. That's the final of the regular season, and then we'll switch over to the Chase, Homestead, Watkins Glen, Darlington, Talladega Auto Club, and Phoenix. You won't want to miss it. Be right here on VirtualRacing.Network. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. That way you can chat with us in the YouTube chat room, and give this video a thumbs up if you can. It helps to spread it out there amongst more YouTubesphere people. Myself, Trevor Greenfield, and Kalen Davies here in the booth at VirtualRacing.Network. Big thanks to the sponsors of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Of course, Buttkicker. Check them out at buttkicker.com, as well as simwrapmarket.com, your sponsor for tonight's Down and Dirty 150, Sundance Pizza, Trivista, and Idealese. Great sponsors, great group of folks out here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. On behalf of everybody, including the competitors and the admin staff that make this all possible, love to thank you for joining us, especially those who joined us live in our YouTube chat room. We'll see you all here again next week on Tuesday night. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe, stay warm. Bye-bye, everybody.